Do you know the princess who controlled the dangerous palace at a young age? Jahanara Begum, daughter of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal, watched secret plans, family fights, and wars from inside the Grand Mughal palace. She guided her brother, helped her father, and survived betrayal, all with courage and intelligence. Watch her story to see how a young princess became the silent guardian of an empire and learned English while enjoying real history. Chapter 1: The Princess of Agra. In 1614, a baby girl was born in the Grand Palace of Agra. She was named Jahanara Begum, the eldest daughter of Emperor Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. From her first days, she watched her mother care for everyone in the palace. As a child, Jahanara loved to read books, learn about heroes, and listen to poetry. She often sat near her mother, watching her help palace workers, visit the poor, and attend to guests. Jahanara was clever and curious. She learned letters, numbers, and how to manage small palace duties. By the age of 10, she was already helping her mother organize meals and medicines for the poor. She liked walking in the gardens, playing with younger siblings, and listening to musicians perform. Her father often smiled at her intelligence and calm nature. But life in the palace was not always peaceful. Court politics and rivalries began to surface. Jahanara started noticing that whispers and secrets could change the happiness of a family. She learned early that being a princess meant more than wealth. It meant responsibility, attention, and courage even as a child. Chapter 2: The Young Padshah Begum. As Jahanara grew, her father trusted her more. When she was a teenager, she was made Padshah Begum, the first lady of the palace. This meant she had to manage the royal household and assist in ceremonies. Though she was young, she acted with wisdom. She guided younger siblings, helped organize palace events, and attended meetings with ministers. Everyone noticed her calm voice and careful attention. Jahanara often walked through the halls, checking if servants had enough food and if the palace was clean. She helped her father read letters from governors and sometimes gave advice on small matters. When her father held court, she would sit quietly, listening to disputes, learning how to solve problems fairly. Life in the palace was not easy. Her brothers sometimes quarreled, and ministers whispered about power struggles. Jahanara learned to watch carefully and think before speaking. She also spent time with ordinary people, secretly giving money to widows and children. People in the empire began to admire her kindness and intelligence, even at a young age. Though she had luxury, her heart stayed humble. She wrote poetry, painted, and enjoyed quiet walks in the gardens. Every day, she learned more about her family, her responsibilities, and the challenges of being a princess in a large empire. Chapter 3: The Empire in Trouble. As Jahanara entered her late teens, the Mughal Empire faced troubles. Her father, Shah Jahan, was busy managing wars and building projects, and the court was full of rivals and secret plans. Her brothers grew ambitious. Darashiko, her elder brother, was kind and gentle, and she tried to support him. Aurangzeb, another brother, was clever and ruthless, and Jahanara began to sense his ambition. She spent her days attending to palace matters, reading reports, and learning about governance. At night, she walked quietly through the palace gardens, thinking about the empire. She listened to servants' concerns, fed the poor, and made sure orphans received gifts. Ministers noticed her calm mind and wise advice, and many trusted her judgment. Jahanara also spent hours with her father, helping him make decisions and understand the moods of people in the court. Even young, she knew that palace politics could be dangerous. Rumors of betrayal and secret meetings reached her ears. She realized that even in her family, power could create fear and tension. Despite the danger, Jahanara never showed fear. She learned to act carefully, observe everything, and speak wisely. Her intelligence and quiet courage became known across the palace. She knew her family depended on her and that her guidance could prevent disaster. Chapter 4: The Shadow of War and Family Struggles. As years passed, tension in the Mughal palace grew. Jahanara watched closely as her brothers' rivalry increased. Dara Shikoh, gentle and thoughtful, trusted her advice, while Aurangzeb grew secretive and ambitious. Letters were exchanged in hidden corners, and ministers whispered warnings. The palace, once peaceful, was now full of caution and fear. Jahanara worked tirelessly to protect her family. She helped her father read reports, guided Dara on safe moves, and mediated minor disputes among ministers. At night, she walked through the palace gardens, thinking about the empire and her family's safety. Sometimes, she secretly gave food and clothes to widows and orphans nearby, keeping her compassion alive amid the tension. The young princess also observed every move of Aurangzeb. She learned his ways cautious, strategic, and patient. She realized that ambition could harm even the closest people. Despite the palace danger, she never hesitated to act. Ministers and soldiers admired her calmness and courage. Jahanara began to understand the price of power. She had to balance loyalty to her father, care for Dara, and caution around Aurangzeb. Her heart often ached, but she whispered to herself, "I must protect my family. I must watch and guide." Her courage became a quiet shield for her family in uncertain times. Chapter 5: The Struggle for the Throne. As time went on, the rivalry between Dara Shikoh and Aurangzeb grew stronger. Jahanara watched the palace with careful eyes. Dara, her beloved brother, was kind and loved learning and poetry, but he lacked the harshness needed to fight for power. Aurangzeb was patient and cunning, planning every step quietly. The palace was full of secret meetings, late-night letters, and hidden messages. Jahanara spent her days helping her father manage the empire. She guided Dara on strategy, advised ministers, and monitored palace affairs. At night, she walked alone in the gardens, thinking about the danger around her family. She also visited nearby villages secretly, giving food and gifts to widows and children. Even during political chaos, her heart remained kind. When war between the brothers finally broke out, Jahanara stood silently by her father's side. She coordinated palace defense, ensured the safety of younger siblings, and sent messages to Dara. She realized that her intelligence and careful planning were crucial. Ministers and soldiers whispered that her mind was as sharp as a general's. Despite fear and sadness, she never showed weakness. She knew the throne might belong to someone ruthless, but she remained steady. Her courage and wisdom guided the family through betrayal, ambition, and uncertainty, making her a quiet force in the empire. Chapter 6: Aurangzeb's Rise. The conflict inside the palace reached its peak. Aurangzeb's plans grew clear, and Dara Shikoh faced defeat. Jahanara tried to guide Dara, sending him advice and warning him of traps. But the rival was clever and determined. The palace halls were tense. Whispers of betrayal floated through every corner. Ministers secretly took sides, and soldiers prepared for possible battle. Jahanara spent her days coordinating palace affairs, checking on supplies, and caring for her younger siblings. She made sure Dara was informed of news and that the family stayed protected as much as possible. At night, she walked the gardens alone, thinking about her father, her brother Dara, and the empire she loved. She felt pain, fear, and responsibility all at once. When Aurangzeb finally defeated Dara and took control, Jahanara faced a new reality. She stayed loyal to her father, managing palace matters and negotiating carefully with Aurangzeb. Her intelligence and calm nature helped her survive the dangerous times. Soldiers, ministers, and even Aurangzeb respected her sharp mind. Even though her family suffered, Jahanara did not give in to despair. She quietly planned, observed, and acted wisely. The young princess had become a woman of strength and strategy. She realized that surviving in the Mughal court required courage, patience, and intelligence, all of which she possessed in abundance. Chapter 7: The Guardian of the Palace. After Aurangzeb became emperor, Jahanara's role changed. Though her father was kept under house arrest, she became the guardian of the palace. She managed court affairs, supervised ceremonies, and ensured the safety of her younger siblings. Every day, she walked through the long halls, checking that servants and guards were alert and that the empire's secrets were safe. Jahanara also acted as a mediator. She spoke carefully to Aurangzeb, offering advice on matters of governance and keeping peace within the palace. Ministers came to her for counsel, and soldiers respected her leadership. Even though the palace was tense, she used wisdom and patience to maintain order. She spent quiet moments in the gardens, thinking about her father, Dara, and the empire she had helped guide. She remembered the happy days with Mumtaz Mahal and her childhood in Agra. Even during political pressure, she secretly helped the poor and gave gifts to children and widows. Her kindness quietly touched many lives. Jahanara learned that survival required more than courage, it needed patience and intelligence. She became a silent force, respected by her family, ministers, and even Aurangzeb. Though danger never fully left the palace, she remained calm, confident, and steady, quietly holding the empire together from behind the throne. Chapter 8: The Last Years of Jahanara Begum. As years passed, Jahanara Begum grew older, but her strength and wisdom remained. She continued to manage palace affairs, supervise ceremonies, and guide younger members of the royal family. Her father, Shah Jahan, lived quietly under house arrest. Yet she visited him and ensured he had comfort and care. She became his voice inside the palace, speaking carefully to Aurangzeb and managing tensions. Jahanara spent time in the gardens, remembering her childhood and the happy moments with her mother, Mumtaz Mahal. She quietly helped the poor, gave food to widows, and comforted orphans. People admired her not just for her intelligence, but also for her kindness. Even ministers and soldiers respected her calm courage. Though the empire changed, Jahanara remained a figure of strength. She witnessed battles for power, the rise and fall of her brothers, and the challenges of the Mughal court. Every decision she made balanced loyalty, patience, and careful planning. She knew her presence kept the palace stable, and she accepted that responsibility quietly. When she passed away in 1681, people mourned the end of an era. Jahanara had lived through wars, family betrayals, and palace intrigues, yet she never lost her calm and wisdom. She remained a silent guardian of the Mughal family, a clever mind in dangerous times, and a woman whose life was filled with courage, intelligence, and quiet strength. If you love Jahanara Begum's story, like, share, and comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Glorious English for more amazing historical stories in very simple English. Improve your English skills while exploring real stories of courage, strategy, and power.